Hello everyone, I hope you are doing very well. Welcome to this class. So today we are going to start some basic concepts of chemistry. So in the previous class we have discussed some points, right? Like we had discussed properties of matter and their measurement, and in the previous class we had discussed regarding the analytical balance. Okay, so let's quickly recall the points, then we will start this today's class. I hope you are ready. Before we start, I just want to give an advice. Be ready with your notebook and pen so that you can note down some important points. Okay. So let's begin with the class. This class is going to be very interesting. So in the previous class, whatever we had discussed, you can see here, we had discussed about the properties and their measurement. Okay. So we had discussed about mass and volume. We had discussed some volume interconvergence. Today we are going to discuss the next point, that will be density, okay, and temperature. So in properties and their measurement, what about mass and volume? There is a difference in weight and mass, right? You can say, like, for microscopic objects, if the mass is very small, if the particle is very light like electron, you can say the weight and mass will be the same terms. But for macroscopic particles, W will be mg. It means weight will be mass into gravity. So if gravity is 0, then weight will be 0. But according to the change in gravity, mass will be same, but weight will be different. Okay. Similarly, we had understood some volume interconvergence. Volume is nothing, that is a space occupied by any object, any material, that is called like its volume. How much space is occupied? So volume can be measured in liter, milliliter, centimeter cube, meter cube, decimeter cube, etc. Basically it is length cube. The unit of meter is like length cube. So in liter, milliliter, centimeter cube, meter cube, decimeter cube, some important points are there. Suppose we have given 10 liter and the question is asking answer in meter cube. So how can we convert this liter into meter cube? How can we convert milliliter into centimeter cube? How can we convert these volume convergence? Interconvert. Okay. So this is very simple. As I told you already in the previous class, that you can assume like we have 1 meter length, breadth and height. A water tank is there, right? Having 1 meter length, breadth and height, and capacity will be 1000 liter. It means you can say 1 meter cube is equal to 10 raised to the power 3 liter. It means you can say 1 meter cube is equal to 1000 liter, or you can say 1 meter cube is equal to, because 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliter, so you can put value here. So 1000, so you can say 1 meter cube is equal to 3 into 3, 10 raised to the power 6 milliliter. 1 meter cube is equal to 10 raised to the power 6 milliliter, or 1 meter cube is equal to 10 raised to the power 3 liter. So 1 liter is equal to 1 by 1000, means 10 raised to the power minus 3 meter cube. 10 raised to the power minus 3 meter cube. Or here you can say 1 milliliter is equal to 10 raised to the power minus 6 meter cube. Ten raised to the power minus 6 meter cube. The next and important part, similarly you can convert 1 meter to is equal to 100 centimeter, and 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeter. Okay, 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeter. So like that you can convert all the interconvergence. So I am quickly recalling these points. Physical and chemical properties. Every substance has its unique or characteristic properties, and these properties are classified into two categories. First is physical and second one is chemical. Physical properties like color, odor, melting point, boiling point, density, etc. Chemical properties like composition, combustibility, reactivity with acids and bases. These are some chemical properties, as I told you already. Physical properties can be measured or observed without changing the identity of the composition of the substance, and chemical properties definitely require a chemical change, right? The examples of chemical properties are characteristic reactions of different substances. These include acidity or basicity, combustibility, etc. Quantitative measurement of properties is required for scientific investigation. Definitely many properties such as length, area, volume, etc. are quantitative in nature. Quantity, we require quantity here. Any quantitative observation or measurement is represented by a number followed by units in which it is measured, like 1 meter, 10 centimeter, 1 meter square, 10 liter, etc. For example, length of a room can be represented as 6 meter. Here 6 is the number and m denotes meter. 6 is the number and m denotes meter. The unit in which length is measured. M denotes the meter, the unit in which length is measured. Okay. The next and important point is that earlier two different system of measurement, the English system and the metric system were there. Now we in the previous class we had discussed about the SI unit. Now I'm just recalling the points. The metric system, which originated in France in late 18th century, was more convenient as it was based on the decimal system, right? Or you can say the international system of units. It is a standard system and we are using this system right now. Okay, the international system of units in which the International System of Units was established by 11th General Conference on Weights and Measures. What? The CGPM is an intergovernmental treaty organization created by diplomatic treaty known as Meter Convention, which was signed in Paris in 1875. The SI system has 7 base units. Basically, we are discussing these 7 base units. You can see here the base physical quantities and their units. Length. Symbol for quantity is small n. Name of the SI unit is meter and symbol for the SI unit is small m. Mass. The next base physical quantity is mass. Symbol for quantity is small m. Name of the SI unit kilogram and symbol for SI unit is kg. Time. Small t. Symbol for quantity is small t and name of the SI unit is second and symbol for SI unit is small s. Electric current. I, capital I. Symbol for quantity is capital I. Name of the SI unit is ampere and symbol for the SI unit is capital A. Symbol for the SI unit is capital A. I hope so far everything is clear to you. The next is thermodynamic temperature. Thermodynamic temperature, symbol for quantity is capital T. Name of the SI unit is Kelvin and symbol for SI unit is capital K. Amount of substance is N and amount of substance, symbol for quantity is small n. Name of the SI unit is mole and symbol for the SI unit is mole, MOL. What is the symbol for SI unit? Mole, which is MOL. Luminous intensity, IV. IV is the symbol for quantity. Candela is the name of the SI unit and CD is the symbol for SI unit. So these are the 7 base physical quantities, but the SI system allows the use of prefixes to indicate the multiples or some multiples of unit. Like you can see the prefixes here. 10 raised to the power minus 24 is used for yocto and the symbol will be Y. Minus 21 jepto, symbol will be small z. Minus 81 atto, symbol will be small a. Minus 51 femto, symbol will be small f. Minus 12, 10 raised to the power minus 12 pico. symbol will be small p. Suppose it is written like 1 picometer, so you can write 1 pico means 10 raised to the power minus 12 and meter means meter, right? You can convert this into centimeter as well. How many centimeters are there in 1 picometer? Very simple. In 1 meter, 100 centimeter are there. In you can put the value here, 10 raised to the power minus 12 into 100 centimeter. You can say 10 raised to the power minus 10 centimeter. 10 raised to the power minus 10 centimeter is the answer. The next will be very interesting. 10 raised to the power minus 9, which is nanometer, or you can say nano, right? If I am saying meter, so it will be nanometer. So next you can say milli. In milli, we can say 10 raised to the power minus 3 is the multiple and small l m is the symbol. 10 raised to the power minus 2 is for centi. 10 raised to the power minus 1 is for deci. And similarly, you can go for 10 raised to the power plus side. Okay, that means up to 10 raised to the power 24, which is iota, and capital Y will be the symbol. Capital Y will be the symbol. These are the prefixes that we can use. Okay, the next one is the mass and weight. So these are the properties, and I told you about the mass and weight. Mass is nothing, that is the amount of substance or amount of matter present in it, right? Mass of a substance is the amount of matter present in it, while weight is the force exerted by gravity on an object, and you know very well this formula, W is equal to mg. The mass of a substance is constant, whereas the weight, which may vary from one place to another place due to the change in gravity. This is gravity, small g. The mass of a substance can be determined accurately in laboratories by using an analytical balance. You can see this is the analytical balance, and the SI unit of mass is kilogram. In analytical balance, you can see these are the pens. Okay, this is the leveling screw, and this is the pointer and scale. This one is the beam release, this is pen release, this is the pen, beam, rider carrier, and rider carrier knob. This one is the rider carrier knob. You know very well its fraction named as gram. 1 kilogram is equal to 1000 gram. It means you can say 1 kilogram is equal to 10 raised to the power 3 gram, because 1 kilo is equal to 10 raised to the power 3. And it is used in laboratories due to the smaller amount of chemicals used in chemical reaction. The next is volume, that we had discussed already. Volume is nothing, that is the amount of space occupied by a substance, and it has some units, which is length cube, right? Volume is actually area into length. Unit of area is length square, and unit of length is length, so it will be length cube. It will be length cube. In chemistry laboratories, smaller volumes are used, hence volume is denoted in centimeter cube or decimeter cube as well, right? In centimeter cube or decimeter cube. As I told you, these are the prefixes, and I told you about the what millimeter as well, right? So as I told you, 1 centimeter has 10 millimeter, right? So you can see in 1 meter 100 centimeter are there, because you can see 1 centimeter is equal to 10 raised to the power minus 2 meter. From this prefix you can say, and if I will go with milli, so you can say 1 millimeter is equal to 10 raised to the power minus 3 meter. Means if I'm asking with 1 meter, so it will be 1 by 10 raised to the power minus 3 millimeter. It means you can say 10 raised to the power 3 millimeter. It means you can say 1000 millimeter. In 1 meter 1000 millimeter is here. So similar type of relationship you can drive itself. Okay, similar type of relationship you can drive itself. In 1 centimeter you can see in 1 meter 100 centimeters are there, and in 1 centimeter 10 millimeter is there. How can I say this? So in 1 meter 1000 millimeter is here. So you can say, you can write like 100 into 10 millimeter, and 100 into 10 millimeter. So 10 millimeter is what? You can say 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter, and 1 centimeter is equal to how many millimeters? 1 centimeter is equal to how many millimeters? I am telling you 10 millimeters. If I am asking you, you can say 1 centimeter is equal to 10 raised to the power minus 2 meter. It means 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter and 1 meter is equal to 1000 millimeter. So 100 centimeter will be equal to 1000 millimeter because both are equal to 1 meter. So how can I calculate 1 centimeter is equal to 1000 by 100 millimeter, and you will get 10 millimeter. You will get 10 millimeter. That means with 10 millimeter we can write centimeter, and it comes out to be 100 centimeter. So these are the small relationship that you can drive itself, that you can make itself. Okay, let's move to the point. Volume. In chemistry laboratories, as I told you already, small volumes are used like in centimeter cube, decimeter cube, etc. A common unit, liter, which is not an SI unit, is used for measurement of volume of liquids. 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliter. 1000 centimeter cube, it means 10 raised to the power 3 centimeter cube, and 1 decimeter cube. Even you can make the conversions from milliliter to centimeter cube, meter cube, decimeter cube as well. Okay, and you know how to make. Let's move to the next, that is density. But before that, you can see here this figure helps to visualize these relationships. I told you like 1 meter cube is equal to 10 raised to the power 3 liter. So you can say 1 liter is equal to 10 raised to the power minus 3 meter cube, right? So you can see this cube is made up of small cubes, right? And this small cube has 1 centimeter side. It means the volume of this small cube is 1 centimeter cube, which is like equal to 1 ml. Suppose 1000 cubes are there, so volume of this bigger cube will be 1000 centimeter cube, or you can say 1000 ml, or even you can say 1000 ml means 1 liter. Similarly, you can say 10 centimeter is equal to 1 decimeter. So side of this bigger cube will be 10 centimeter. Size of this bigger cube will be 10 centimeter, means 10 into 10 into 10 will be the 1000 centimeter cube. 1000 centimeter cube volume. Okay, this is the figure that helps to understand these relationship. Okay, whatever the relationship I told you, you can convert 1 liter into meter cube, into centimeter cube, into decimeter cube, into milliliter. Okay, so you have to learn how to convert, and you have to learn the values exactly. You have to learn the values exactly. You know, like if I am saying 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliter, and if I am saying like that, I am writing here 1 meter into 1 meter into 1 meter is equal to 1000 liter. 1 meter means 100 centimeter. 100 centimeter. 100 centimeter. Liter. You can say 10 raised for 6 centimeter cube. So you can say 1000 into 1000 milliliter. It means 10 raised for 6 milliliter. So 6 cancel. 1 centimeter cube is equal to 1 milliliter. You can say 1 centimeter cube is equal to 1 milliliter as well. That's why 1000 centimeter cube is equal to 1000 milliliter. 1000 centimeter cube is equal to 1000 milliliter. Let's move to the next. That is, in laboratory, the volume of the liquids or solutions can be measured by graduated cylinders, burette, pipette, and etc. So this is burette, this is pipette, this is graduated cylinder, and this is volumetric flask. These are the figures that you can see here. A volumetric flask is used to prepare a non-volume of a solution. If we know the volume, right, is used to prepare a non-volume, like this is of 1 liter. So you have to fill up to this mark. There is a mark and you have to fill up to this mark. And these are the measuring device you can see here in this figure. Repeating once more time: burette, pipette, graduated cylinder, and volumetric flask. In burette, you can say from 0 ml to 50 ml, and this is the knob from where you can open this burette. Okay, and used mostly in what? Used mostly in volumetric analysis. It means in titrations. Let's move to the next point, that will be the density. You know, density is a term that is equal to the mass by volume. Mass you know very well, and volume we have discussed. So density of a substance is the amount of mass, amount of matter per unit volume. So SI unit of density can be obtained as follows, like mass unit is kilogram and unit of volume will be meter cube. So SI unit will be kilogram per meter cube or kilogram meter cube inverse, right? Density of a substance tells us how closely its particles are packed. It means if mass is more and volume is less, it means particles are very close to each other, right? Particles are very close. Let's say small d is equal to m by b. If d is directly proportional to m, not if, you can see here from this formula, d is directly proportional to m and d is inversely proportional to v. If mass is more, density will be more, and if volume is less, density will be more. If volume is less, definitely the area, the space occupied by the particles will be less. It means the particles are close. If the particles are close, definitely density will be high. So density of a substance, if density of a substance is high, so it shows that particles are close. It means you can say density of substance tells us about how closely its particles are packed. If density is more, it means particles are more closely packed. If density is more, particles are more closely packed. Next term is temperature here. What about temperature? Temperature is measured in three different scales: Kelvin, degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. Okay, and there is a relationship to convert Kelvin to degree Celsius, Kelvin to Fahrenheit. Directly we can not convert Kelvin to Fahrenheit. First of all, we have to go Kelvin to degree Celsius, then degree Celsius to Fahrenheit. Similarly, degree Fahrenheit to degree Celsius and degree Celsius to Kelvin. And you can convert degree Celsius to degree Fahrenheit and degree Fahrenheit to degree Celsius. Okay. Similarly, you can convert degree Celsius to Kelvin and Kelvin to degree Celsius. So there are three common scales to measure temperature: degree Celsius, degree Fahrenheit, and degree and Kelvin. Kelvin is the SI unit for measuring the temperature. Kelvin is the SI unit. Interesting part. Now I want to tell you the interesting part, that in each case you can go to zero, right? In each case you can go to zero. You can say 0 Kelvin. You can say 0 degree Celsius. In each case you can write 0 and 0 and 0. But out of these three values, only the first one, 0 Kelvin, is the absolute 0. And others are not 0, because you can go to the negative of this temperature in this scale. Okay, negative temperature in this scale. So 0 Kelvin means absolute 0. Zero degree Celsius and 0 degree Fahrenheit. You can see there are three scale: Kelvin, Celsius and Fahrenheit, and different values are shown here. The first one, like you can see 0 degree Celsius, which is freezing point of water, and in Fahrenheit the value will be 32 degree Fahrenheit, and in Kelvin its value is equal to 273.15 Kelvin. 0 degree Celsius means 273.15 Kelvin. Room temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, and in Fahrenheit 77 degree Fahrenheit, and like in Kelvin 298 Kelvin. 310 Kelvin is the human body temperature, 37 degrees Celsius, and in Fahrenheit 98.6 degree. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, and it is 373 Kelvin in Kelvin, and 212 degree Fahrenheit in Fahrenheit scale. Okay. You can convert if the values of degree Celsius is given, so you can put that temperature value in Kelvin and minus 273. If the value of degree Celsius is to be found, if the value of Kelvin is given, minus 273, exactly you can subtract 273.15. 273.15. Next, if you want to calculate temperature in Kelvin and temperature in degree Celsius is given, so you have to add 273.15. For numerical calculation you can use 273 only, but if I want to write exactly, so it should be 273.15. Similarly, if you have given degree Celsius value, if you have to calculate degree Celsius value and degree Fahrenheit is given, so you can put 5 by 9 degree Fahrenheit in temperature minus 32. And if degree Fahrenheit is have to calculate and degree Celsius is given, so what you can do, degree Celsius plus 32. Okay, degree Celsius plus 32. So these are the formulas that you have to use. Let's understand. Generally, the thermometer with Celsius scale are calibrated from 0 degree to 100 degree, where these two temperatures are the freezing point and the boiling point of respectively. The Fahrenheit scale is represented between 32 degree to 212 degree. The temperature on the two scales are related to each other by the following relationship: F is equal to 9 by 5 C plus 32. F is equal to 9 by 5 C plus 32. And agar if C you have to calculate and F is given, so you can put 5 by 9 F minus 32. And if you want to check the conversion of interconversion of Celsius to Kelvin, Kelvin to Celsius, you can see Kelvin is equal to degree Celsius plus 273.15. It is interesting to note that the temperature below 0 degree Celsius, it means negative values are possible in Celsius scale, but in Kelvin scale, negative temperature is not possible. Let's understand some examples. For example, you want to calculate how much Kelvin is there in 37 degrees Celsius. You are calculating Kelvin and temperature in degree Celsius is given. So you can put the values 37 degrees Celsius. If degree Celsius temperature is given, you can add the 273 factor. For calculations, I am using 273 only. So 273 plus 37, it comes out to be, we are adding 273 plus 37, 310. It comes out to be 310. If it is 27, then it will be definitely 300. And if it is 37, then it is 310. Okay, these are the values in Kelvin. Next one is, if the values is given to you, let's suppose 45 degree Fahrenheit, and the question is asking calculate the value in degree Celsius. So degree Celsius is equal to 5 by 9 temperature in Fahrenheit minus 32. Okay, let's take another one. Let's take 50. Okay, 50 degree Fahrenheit. It will be easy for calculation. So 50 minus 32 will be 18. 9 to the 18, it comes out to be 10 degrees Celsius. Suppose the question is saying that 10 degrees Celsius is right or wrong. So you can convert this 10 degrees Celsius into Fahrenheit, which is very simple. 9 by 5 into C, which is 10 degrees Celsius plus 32. It comes out to be 50 degree Fahrenheit. Similarly, you can convert this 10 degrees Celsius into Kelvin. You can add 273. It comes out to be 283 Kelvin. And you can convert this 50 degree Fahrenheit also into Kelvin, which is also coming out to be 283 Kelvin. I hope you are getting what are the concepts that we have covered today. So this is all about the physical properties and their measurements. We have discussed properties of their measurement. We have discussed mass, mainly mass and weight, two terms, volume, mass, weight, density, and temperature. And also their important examples. I hope so far everything is clear to everyone. So after these topics, we will discuss the next topic in the next class. Until then, thank you so much, and we will meet soon in the next class with the new topics. Thank you everyone.